Am I the asshole for telling my friend that proposing is not a suitable Christmas present? I have a friend who I'll be calling Harry. Harry and I have known each other for over a decade. We're in our early 30s. He was part of my own wedding party, and 99 times out of 100, he's an all-round great guy. Harry has been dating his girlfriend for around 4 years. She's an absolute diamond, and brings out all of the best qualities in him. A couple of weeks ago, Harry confided in me that he was planning to propose to his partner over Christmas. She's very family-focused, and he is setting it up so his parents unexpectedly visit them. They're doing Christmas with her family this year, early in the morning, and he will propose during present opening in front of his and her parents, and her siblings and their partners/kids. When chatting about arrangements a couple of days ago, Harry made a throwaway comment about the engagement saving him some time in relation to the rest of his Christmas shopping. I asked him what he meant, and he said that since he was proposing, he hadn't planned to get his partner anything else for Christmas. I said that the two were not mutually exclusive when I got engaged, albeit not at Christmas. My husband still got me a birthday present the following month. Harry raised that the ring was costing him more than several usual Christmas and birthday present combined, which is true, but it is not the case that he is scraping together every last penny to buy it either, and there is absolutely money to spare for a couple of gifts that he'd usually get his partner. I also pointed out that since he is hoping to surprise her with the proposal, that it would become quite obvious that something was afoot if there were no presents for her from him under the tree. We went back and forth for a while, with Harry continuing to take the stance that getting engaged is definitely a gift. I said that it was all well and good, but that his girlfriend will absolutely have bought him gifts that he will both appreciate and use, and that an engagement is in no way the same kind of exchange in that sense. Additionally, while his partner is in no way materialistic, she is someone who appreciates the give and take of mutual present exchanges like Christmas, white elephants, etc. We didn't have a major fight or anything like that about this, but Harry has said that he's probably not going to share more about the engagement with me because I have differing views. I don't want to be a stubborn old fool on something I'm clearly wrong about, so would appreciate the view of internet strangers on this. Edit. A couple of comments are on the same lines, so I'll respond to them here instead of individually. He shouldn't propose to her in front of others. Getting engaged in front of family would suit his partner to a T. This is definitely something she would want based on previous conversations. You shouldn't involve yourself too much in your friend's life. The entire discussion lasted maybe 5 minutes while we were having a drink, including Harry saying he'd not bring it up with me anymore. In no way have I told him point blank to do/not do something, and we have spoken since civilly on other topics since. I'd hope that everyone has a friend or two who'll be honest to them if they think they're in the wrong, to be frank. My question here centered on the proposal as the gift, not on if I'm a bad friend. Not the asshole. I think the idea that proposing is a gift from him to her, as opposed to a mutually joyful step forward for both of them, is a bit distasteful. So he thinks he's the gift to her. Face vomiting. The engagement is the present, reads as if engagement and marriage is only to benefit her. It feels like he's selling himself as a gift, while that's simply not true. In a relationship, engagement and marriage should be for both sides, so no, not the asshole. Not the asshole, and what he said about getting engaged as a gift made me want to puke. That is such a shitty attitude to have going into all of this. I cannot imagine wanting to propose to someone who I supposedly love with the attitude of, but they better not expect any gifts or generosity from me after this. Not the asshole. Getting engaged is not a present. I have a birthday in November, and mein family when I was a kid would give me one present for both birthday and Christmas, while every other kid in the family for individual presents for each. That's what this reminds me of. Am I the asshole for refusing to babysit during vacation, even though I have no other plans? Throw away ACCT for obvious reasons. My family owns a small vacation house in Florida, and the whole family spends a week there every other year. This year's trip is coming up in 3 weeks. The people coming are my brother, 32M, his wife, and their 2 kids, 8M and 5F. My sister, 26F, her husband and their kid, 4M. And me, 28M, single and child-free. We're each paying our own way. The other day, my sister called and told me that she and brother had planned a couple's day, with their spouses in the middle of the week. The idea was that the 2 couples would spend the day on the water and then go to a nice restaurant for dinner. She asked if I could watch the kids during this time. I said no. She thought I was joking until I doubled down, and then she got audibly annoyed. She kept asking why not. Why can't I help out this one time? Why am I being so selfish? Look, I like my nephews and niece, and they're good kids. But I'm not a kid person. I've babysat them before and hated it, even though I love them. I don't want to spend vacation babysitting, even if it's only for one day, and it would be the whole day. She asked what other plans I had that day, and I said none. That made her mad, and she kept saying that if I have no plans, there's no reason I can't watch the kids. I said I would spend the day enjoying myself, whatever I ended up doing, and it wouldn't involve kids. She got so mad she hung up on me, but she and brother have both been texting asking me to change my mind. In the past, my parents have watched the kids while the couples have a date night, but they're not able to come to vacation this year. I feel like it's not my responsibility to watch their kids, and I have a right to say no, but that I also might be an asshole for refusing to help this one time. Am I the asshole? You should skip these trips when your parents don't come. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I'm more offended on your behalf that you weren't invited to join the adult day on the water. Couples Day is bullshit that allows them to exclude you and shove their kids onto you. Nope. Dude, go somewhere else for your vacation, or they're gonna flee when you're in the bathroom and be like, oh, we're coming back in 5 minutes. Not the asshole. So, the two couples wish to exclude you simply because they assume you'll be their nanny? One couple can have a child-free day while the other couple watches all the kids, and then they split. Sounds like they don't want to spend time with you, which is really crappy of them. Not the asshole. The two couples can organize alternate couples days between them by looking after each other's kids. They can do the same for going out in the evenings as well. If they try to spring anything on you while you're there, tell them you've had too many beers, even if it's 9 a.m. Well, my plan would have been to spend the day on the water with the other adults and have a nice dinner, or spend the day on the beach relaxing, as it's my vacation as well. But apparently I'm only invited as the designated babysitter and someone you just used to your advantage. I don't think I even want to go now. Thanks for making your opinion of my lifestyle perfectly clear. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my friend his girlfriend isn't welcome at our monthly dinners? Every month my friends and I will meet for dinner. We can never agree on a restaurant that is kosher/halal certified and is nut-free, so we decided to cook for each other. We don't depend on one person to eat the cost for the month, and instead have a kitty we all put money in, and then that is used to purchase groceries for the dinner. We are a pretty diverse group: Ethiopian, Greek, Kurdish, Polish, and Pakistani. Partners are more than welcome. Last year a friend's partner wanted to make Chinese food for us, so we added her into the rotation. I've been with my boyfriend since university, and he's always been a part of these dinners. There's never been any issues, and we are very careful with dietary requirements. For the past 5 months another partner was introduced to the dinners, and I liked her well enough. Last week it was my dinner, and I made a full Pakistani spread since I missed my last dinner, because I was sick. I made vegetable and meat samosas for the starters and vegetable biryani with achari chicken, and palak aloo and tandoori naan as the main and carrot halwa with vanilla ice cream as the dessert. I was very proud of it. It took 2 days of prep between work and other errands. My friend's girlfriend is Korean, and when we sat down for dinner I noticed she had brought a tub of kimchi, and she was eating it with everything. She put it on the samosa, and was about to add it to her biryani when I asked her if she would try the food without the kimchi. I don't have anything against it. I love the stuff, and I've made my own, but it does have a very strong taste, and I wanted her to try my food without it. She said she needed to eat everything with kimchi, and someone pointed out that she had never brought it to any previous dinners. Then she said the kimchi was the only thing making my food taste good, so I asked if she had eaten Pakistani food before, and she sneered and said no. This whole interaction was so weird, and I felt this sense of superiority from her. I felt demeaned by her behavior. I don't know if she was feeling ganged up or realized she was being a bad guest or something, because she got up with her tub of kimchi and told her boyfriend she wanted to leave. He agreed, and they both left, and we finished our dinner. It kind of ruined the night for me after putting in so much effort. The next day my friend texted me and apologized on his girlfriend's behalf, and said she felt I was trying to embarrass her. I told him I had no such intentions, and he was on my side about it, and said he told her she was out of line and offensive. I told him it was fine, and that I wanted to move on, but I don't want her at our dinners, and he agreed. He obviously told her, and then I got a long text message from her saying that I was holding a grudge for no reason, and trying to come between her and her boyfriend. She said if I said it was fine she would be allowed back, but I don't want her there. Was that unreasonable of me to ask? Would I be the asshole? Not the asshole lot of white people here not realizing she was being very, very racist. She was racist, dude. She admitted she had never had your food, refused to stop eating the kimchi, and had never brought it to anyone else's house. She was an incredibly rude and inappropriate guest notwithstanding her outright racism. Not the asshole. Why is everyone ignoring that she's never brought kimchi before and pointedly used it for your food? Not the asshole. Her saying, it's the only thing that makes it taste good, is so condescending. However, it's not up to you on other hosting parties to not have her there. At your door? For sure. Especially with how rude that interaction has come across. Not the asshole. Why are y'all acting like this wasn't a racial microaggression when it clearly was? She didn't being it to other dinners. Kimchi with biryani? And samosa? And gajar halwa? This is so insane, I'm not even sure where to begin. If ethnicities were changed, like for instance if a South Asian brought spicy chili pickle to a feast made by an Italian or French friend and insisted on eating everything with that without ever trying the food as it's intended to be eaten, would everyone here still be saying people can do what they like? The South Asian would be considered ignorant and the Westerner justified in being offended. But suddenly, the rudeness is fine and you should deal? Nope, your friend agrees, and this girl hasn't apologized to you, just complaining about being excluded. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is extremely rude. I'm Korean American and wouldn't dream of doing something so rude. My Korean old-fashioned mom does eat kimchi with every meal, but she eats it after we get home to aid digestion. But she would never, ever bring her own tub of kimchi to someone's house. Your friend's girlfriend is rude AF. Am I the asshole for wanting different rules for my parents after my in-laws treated me badly? Got married in February 2024 and got pregnant shortly after. My in-laws stayed with us for the first 4 months after my daughter was born, but honestly, both my mother-in-law and father-in-law treated me badly. My mother-in-law made frequent hurtful comments about my age and breast milk supply, and my father-in-law would sometimes join in, either to taunt me or show passive aggression at one point. They even refused to bring me food when I was unwell. While they did help with cooking and taking care of the baby, their presence caused a lot of tension between me and my husband, and we ended up arguing a lot. After they left, things didn't improve. My husband started siding with them, emotionally isolated me, and my recovery was affected. On top of that, I was also going through a stressful job change, but they didn't seem to care about how their behavior impacted me or our daughter. After months of discussions and me pleading, my husband finally admitted he and his family were wrong and apologized, promising it won't happen again, but my trust has been deeply eroded. Now, I don't want my in-laws staying with us when they visit. My husband agrees they should stay separately and only see our daughter for a short time in the evenings. I told my husband he can stay with his parents as long as he wants, do whatever he wants with them, and visit them as often as he likes. I also said that me and my daughter can come along and see them too, as long as we stay separately. The problem is he insists on applying the same rules to my parents, who have never caused any issues. I'm okay with my parents staying separately, but I want them to be able to spend more time with our daughter. We also have family in Seattle. My brother, sister-in-law, and nephews. But my husband refuses to let us visit them. He says they must come to us, stay separately, and follow the same limited visitation rules as his parents. Am I the asshole for wanting fair, but different rules for my parents versus his? Should I stand my ground? And if so, how long is reasonable? Update. Thank you all for your comments and support. I had made peace with the idea that as long as his parents stay separately, I could go along with anything to keep peace in the house, maintain our relationship, and ensure a stable environment for our daughter. But I realized this was actually another form of abuse, that there's no real accountability or remorse or correctiveness for his actions. Thanks to the Reddit community, my eyes have been opened. I confronted my husband about the unfairness of the situation, explaining that my family should only be held accountable if they behaved like his family. I emphasized that punishing my family for his parents' mistakes is unhealthy. The conversation was destructive and emotionally exhausting. That he threatened legal action, defended his parents regardless of wrongdoing, and that I cannot simply do whatever I want. He will do whatever he thinks is right, and will assess the situation once his parents come. After 4 hours of emotionally draining discussion, where he often left the conversation in anger, and I had to chase him to continue. I pleaded with tenderness, expressed my trauma, and explained that I am not asking them to stay separately out of spite. He responded that my parents can visit and stay for the same 6 months his parents stayed, and he will count the days and inform me. After that, he will not meet them to keep his conscience clear, even though my parents did nothing wrong and he has no ill will toward them. I can visit my brother with our daughter any number of times. His parents can come and stay separately, but our daughter can meet them only for a stipulated amount of time. I recognize this dynamic as toxic and controlling, but I feel trapped by cultural pressure that the South Asian stigma against divorced women with children limits my options. My dear, your problem isn't your in-laws, you have a husband problem. He doesn't have your back at all, and doesn't want you to have the support you need. He wants tit for tat, when he's not the one suffering. Has he always been this cold and mean, to allow his parents to mistreat you the way they did? My husband refuses to let us visit them. Excuse me. Your husband is so controlling that you're not allowed to make your own decisions. WTF. Not the asshole tell him that the rules are for people that treat you or him like shit. That doesn't apply to your parents. His parents weren't banned because they were parents, but because of their behavior. If they behaved like your parents do, they would be welcome. If it were your parents behaving badly instead, they would be the unwelcome ones. Honestly, it seems to me that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and your husband is being deliberately obtuse. He is not treating you well either. Not the asshole tell him, if he wants to treat them equally, then your parents are owed 4 months' worth of overnight visits. Not the asshole. Different scenarios, different rules should apply. Your husband's demands are not based on fairness. They sound like punishment and payback for having spoken against his parents. Not the asshole, you should 100% treat them equally. That rule can apply after your parents have stayed for 4 months, and if they treat him or you like shit, which I'm sure they won't.